Hi everyone and welcome back to RC Fun and Games, and today we are going to continue the upgrade series on the Traxxas Trx4M K10. We are going to be installing the extended axles from Injora plus their 11 kilogram servo. So this is going to be an awesome upgrade to this truck. I also wanted to mention to you guys that in the last video I had a few issues with it. I don't know if you guys noticed on the footage, but when I was going around the course they kept being a little click and a clack, especially if I tried to turn, meaning that the gears inside the axles have already been eaten. Now, you guys have seen the footage. The only times I've used this truck is on the footage, and I have been extremely smooth and careful with this rig, and yet both axles have failed. The rear is not as bad as the front, but no matter what, they have failed. And I just wanted to give my true opinion about the Traxxas Trx4Ms. I really don't think the quality is there. I don't think they're that great of a rig, and I'm really quite disappointed with what Traxxas has thrown out there, especially compared to the bigger brother Traxxas TRX4. That has got portal axles, lockable differentials, 2-speed gearbox, and you don't see any of that here. So to me, I am really disappointed with the quality from Traxxas. And I've run the other two. I didn't have a problem with their axles, but you had multiple other problems, like the servos, which we already know the electronics from Traxxas aren't great. But to be disappointed to the extent that if I had bought this and this was my first RC car and I had taken it out and the diffs had failed the way it did, and that's not even talking about the mid-range gearing that comes out of the box, because you can't even crawl with these rigs. So yeah, overall, I am really disappointed with this product from Traxxas. I expected a lot more when they were going to come out with a Mini. But you know what? It's an awesome platform to upgrade. They're awesome to work on. I've got to give them that. And they've got these outstanding looking bodies, which, you know what? I've got nothing to complain about their bodies. These over here are a little bit translucent compared to the Bronco and the Defender. But besides that, they're awesomely detailed bodies, and they can end up being some awesome trucks. But I do think it's a little bit steep for what you get. Okay, but now that I've mentioned what I had to say about these rigs, I'm going to move on. I'm going to fit the extended axles from Injora because, in my opinion, I fitted them to my Jeep build and they were smooth and awesome. We're going to try them on yet to see if we get a little bit more stability out of it. Besides that, of course, reliability, because that is one of the most important things you want out of your rig when you're out on the trail. You don't want it breaking down on you and you have to come home after driving an hour to go and do a little bit of trailing and you got 5 minutes and you got to go home and fix it. So these are definitely things that I think have to be addressed, and if you buy these vehicles from scratch, you've got a lot of upgrades to do for it to be a reliable, good performing truck. Now, in my opinion, I still think it's better to just buy the upgraded parts and assemble your own rig and then buy a body and throw it on it. But that's my opinion. I really do think there's a lot of geometry problems with this vehicle straight out of the box, and I would really liked to have seen Traxxas address these issues from the first one to the second one, but they haven't. All they have done is actually make the platform worse with the Traxxas Trx4M Hight Trail. It is an awesome rig, but without upgrades, it is not a reliable or an awesome crawler. Okay, that's my opinion. Anyway, let's jump past all that. Let's show you guys the cool parts I'm going to be installing, and let's get stuck in. Okay, like I mentioned, we are going to be installing the extended axles from Injora. These are the 4mm extended, which is actually 8mm overall. And the last time I used them on my Jeep build, it was awesome. They were really, really nice and smooth straight out of the box. This time, just because the gearbox that I installed in the K10 was so dry, I think we'll give these a little open and check if they've got any grease inside the gears. Besides that, we're going to be throwing that in, and of course, no point changing all that without changing the servo. So we're going to throw in their 11 kilogram servo, and we'll also be throwing in the servo mount with the servo horn. So let's get this K10 stripped down and get all these components fitted. Okay, so we're going to have to start by removing the body like always. Now, we might as well get our battery out, because we are going to have to take out the battery tray so we can access the wiring so we can replace the servo. So that will also be coming out. We have to get all the wheels off the rig, so might as well start with that. Okay, so now I'm gonna start by removing the front axle and servo, and then we'll move on to doing the rest. So I'm gonna start straight away by taking out the battery tray. Okay, cut off the zip tie. Okay, now we remove our tab. Okay, now our front axle should drop out, and there you have it. So front axle all the way. Yeah, now let's just check this. Feels horrible. Okay, let's get our drive shaft off. Okay, so let's get this front axle open. Now, as you guys can see, the extended steering arm is also provided. All the hardware needed. They also provide brass hexes for the actual diffs, so I'm impressed with that. Everything you need is part of this kit, and that's what's so awesome about it. Let's get it open. Okay, but here you are, fully built, awesome looking axles from Injora. I've got to say, I think these are awesome. Let's just feel if they're as smooth as the last set. They are extremely smooth. They really are. But just before we throw this on the vehicle, let's quickly open this up and check if there's any grease in there. Moment of truth. And you know what? It does have grease. It actually has a decent layer in there. I can't complain. You guys can see in there, but yes, it's definitely got some grease in there. That's why they're so nice and smooth. Since I've got it open, I'm gonna throw a little lick extra on top of it, but I do like what I see in there. It's definitely got grease, and I'm impressed. But they are really smooth, guys. That's one thing I've got to say. You can turn them yourself. There's no noise. They are so smooth. Very nice product from Injora. Anyway, let me just throw some grease on this. I'm gonna get it closed back up. I'll be right back so we can fit the servo and get it installed into the vehicle. Okay, so now I'm gonna grab the steering bar. I'm gonna open the hardware they give, and let's get the ball joints fitted so we can actually get the installation done. So pour these out down, yeah? Okay guys, I don't know if you can see the difference here, but the shorter ones are for the size of the steering arm and the taller one for the center of the steering arm. Now we are just gonna grab an O-ring. Okay. Throw that in there. Now just repeat the process, but with the shorter ones. Okay, and like that, it is ready to go on. So now we can install this one on, yeah? Let's get these open. Okay, we'll get our servo horn, we'll save that for a minute. And we need this, so let's get our mount out. This will be going like that, the longer side to the front. So just like that. Okay, let's get our servo out. Won't be needing any of the servo horns they provide. And yeah, we got this awesome servo from Injora. I have not been let down by these yet. I've used them now on 3-4 builds, and you know what? They perform excellently. Besides that, they look awesome too. So let's get this one installed into the actual mount, and then we'll fit it to the vehicle. So, okay, inside this packet, you're gonna find some thinner screws. Those are the ones you're gonna use to hold the servo down. Okay, guys, I also just wanted to say the Injora toolset, I've been running this now for over a year, these ones, and you know what, they never fail me. They're awesome to work with, a little bit small for in hand, but like this you can access places that the bigger handled ones can't. So these have been great, and the ones that I'm using on the power tools have also been great from Injora. Got no complaints about the quality of their tools. Anyway, now that we've got this over here to this point, we can put this onto here. But before we do that, we grab our servo horn. But to do that, we need to centralize the servo. So let's get our servo horn, screw for the servo horn. Don't forget, you are going to be putting Loctite on this screw to make sure it doesn't come out. Now, I'm just going to plug our servo into the vehicle. So servo was there, white was to the tab side, so that way around. Okay, once we've got that plugged in, just put our battery in. Okay, as you guys can see, plugged in now. Servo is a bit noisy, but plenty of speed and power there. Okay, now I'm just going to set everything to neutral. That's neutral position. Get the controller put down. Now, this is going to go forward straight, so get it as straight as you possibly can. Lot of Loctite. Okay, as you guys can see, I don't want to put too much Loctite, just enough to hold it from coming out. Okay, now it is ready to get installed onto the axle. Okay, and don't forget to put your drive shaft back in phase. Okay, let's get our pins installed and hexes. Okay, now that we've got the front axle all done, let's get the rear axle removed and fit the aluminum axle. Okay, and let's get this rear axle open. Okay, once again, another awesome looking axle, guys. I really like the look of these. They look very realistic when they're on the actual rig. Now let's just feel that this one's also nice and smooth. Oh yes. Smooth as can be. Okay, but this one sounds a bit drier than the other one, and I'm not going to bore you guys, but I'm just going to open it up and I'm going to throw a little bit of extra grease on that ring and pinion gear. Yeah, and as you guys can see, this one is definitely drier. It's not got as much grease in there. So once again, if you're going to buy a set of these, make sure you open them up and throw a little bit of grease in. I'm going to be using a bit of high temperature graphite grease from Castrol. This is what I use on my rigs. The reason I use this is not because it's my preference, it's just what I've got lying around the house because I do lots of work on my rail cars, and this grease has been performing great on all the rigs. Even when you take it through water and stuff, the grease never mixes with the water, so it's been really good grease, and it makes everything very quiet. And another thing I notice is that you can strip it apart and there's always grease on the teeth. Awesome, because at the end of the day, what you want is that thin layer of lubrication just over those teeth every time they go around. And to me, this grease seems to always stay in place and not just get pushed away. Now let's just see, it's all there. Nice and smooth. Okay, so as you guys can notice, servo's got plenty of power. Modulation is even better than what it was before. You got plenty of control. I am really impressed with that. Yes, the truck does look better as well by having the wheels out to the sides. Just all in all, it is a great upgrade. The vehicle is nice and heavy. It is well planted. It's not going to go anywhere. We've still got the shocks and we've got some awesome rims and tires to throw on you. Okay, and as it's all been done, guys, all I've got to say is thanks for joining me. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't, guys. It really helps my small little channel go forward. Now, Let me get out. Let's go and put this thing around the course. Let's see how capable it is with these axles and that servo.